How's it going, everyone? It's K Limited here, and today we are going to be talking about Toshinden 2 on the PlayStation 1. Now, this game is a game that came out in America, but we will be talking about the Japanese version of this game. I recently picked up a Japanese PlayStation 1 because there's a lot of Japanese exclusive games, and I was wanting to play them, but I still needed some games to kind of like test out with the system, so I picked up this game. I had never played a Toshinden game before, but I figured I would go ahead and try it because it was only $10. And I have to say, I am actually pleasantly surprised with this game. This has actually ended up being a really fun fighting game. And the nice thing about picking up the Japanese version of this game, like I said, this is a $10 game. But if you want to pick up the English version of this game, you're looking around about $35 to $40 for the English version. So you actually save quite a bit of money by picking up the Japanese version. And all the menus in the Japanese version, like at least the main menu, is in English. The only Japanese is when you go into the actual settings, but even when you do that, it's pretty easy to figure out what everything is, and it's pretty easy to adjust things to the way you want. Like if you want to adjust the difficulty, super easy to do. Still, like you can tell pretty much what it is, especially if you're used to fighting games. If you've played plenty of fighting games, you'll know exactly what to do to get the difficulty you want, and you'll understand what the different numbers mean in the settings and everything like that. Worst comes to worst, you use Google Translate, okay? It does work. I will say, it may not be perfect, but it does work when you need it. So that's just another option. But the main menu is in English. The names of the characters are all in English too whenever you're fighting and everything like that. And overall, I really like this game. This is a really fun fighting game. Now, I am not a great fighting game player. I'm not good at fighting games, but I do enjoy them. I've always enjoyed them. And I'm never good about combos or anything like that. I couldn't tell you about combos and stuff like that. I couldn't tell you about different fighting techniques or anything like that. I can just tell you basic information about the games and what I enjoy about them. The things I usually enjoy about fighting games are the characters, the backgrounds, the settings, and just the background stories of the characters and stuff like that. And I do enjoy some more simplistic fighting, but also games that give you a lot of moves. And this game does give you a decent amount of moves. Every character feels very different from one another, and I really like the cast of characters in this game. There's a really good cast of characters here. You get quite a wide variety of different characters, and I like all of them. I think they're all cool. The stages look great. I absolutely love the stages in this game, actually. The stages, the backgrounds of them just look so awesome. There's some really cool ones, especially the final one. Like if you are going through the one-player mode, or if you go through, I think if you go through the full battle, it also has it at the end. But the very final fight that you have against the Master, the background art for that one is amazing. It's super creepy looking, but it just looks really neat too. They did a great job on that. And I do like the characters. Like I said, like the movesets for each character. They all have like these little kind of more powerful moves that they can use if you use the bumpers. And you can honestly spam them if you're playing on a low enough difficulty and kind of get by pretty easily. But I do like the different power attacks that they have. I think those are cool also. And overall, this is just a really, really fun game. You have a few different modes. You can do, obviously, your single fights if you just want to do a quick fight. But you do have the single-player mode, which just takes you through an arcadey version of it. And when you beat it, you have this little... It will show your character on a cliff face, and it will give you some text, and it's basically just character stories. And there's another mode called Full Battle, and that is literally just going through and fighting every single character in the game. Whereas in Arcade, I think it's a bit more random, but in Full Battle, it's just all of them. Every single character that you see in the game, including the bosses, you fight all of them in a row. And that's actually pretty cool. I do like that. And you also still, even when you beat that one, you still get the character text at the end of the game. So it's kind of even though it's its own mode, it still counts as completing the game. So it's kind of interesting how they did that. But overall, this is a fantastic game. Very fun fighting game. Very simplistic. It's good for people like me who are bad at fighting games. I think that it's one of those fighting games too where the difficulty that you set it to actually feels like it's correct. There's some fighting games where you can turn it down to easy, you can turn it down all the way if you want, but it doesn't feel like it actually changes much. There's a lot of fighting games that still have ridiculous difficulty spikes. This game doesn't have that. It actually feels really fair when you whatever settings you have it on. That's what you're going to get. It gives you a really fair battle, and it has a really fair difficulty system. So I really like that, actually. The bosses, the characters do get more difficult as you go on, of course, but still, I think that it gives you a fair challenge if you set it up the way that you want. So I really enjoyed that. This is a really fun game, and I'm glad that I picked it up. I probably wouldn't have picked this game up any other way, so I'm excited that I picked it up. You know, it was just kind of like one of those things I bought on a whim just to test out my PlayStation 1, but I'm glad I did. This is an awesome game, and honestly, this is one of my favorite fighting games now. And the graphics, like, I know that a lot of people don't like... Well, I shouldn't say a lot of people. There's some people that don't like the PlayStation 1 kind of polygon look. I like it. If you're a fan of that type of polygon look, you're going to like this game. I'm a fan of that stuff. You know, to me, that's nostalgic. I like seeing the characters, you know, look a little bit rough around the edges. It doesn't bother me. To me, it's just, you know, more nostalgia. It's something I'm used to. So I like the polygon looks of these characters. I like the kind of, like, clunkiness that they look like and everything. But it's kind of more like a personal thing. You know, maybe not everyone will like that, but I don't mind it. I think 3D fighters look pretty cool, especially from the PlayStation 1 era. This game just has so much charisma. That's one thing that this game really has going for, is just the charisma of it. Especially, like, even the opening cutscene that you have, like, this mix of not only the PlayStation 1 graphics, you know, introducing all the characters and everything, but then you actually have some live-action actors in it, too. It's really cool, and it just screams, you know, that the PlayStation generation just screams 90s, and I love it. I absolutely love it. This is a fantastic game, and one thing that I really like about this game that I have to mention here too is that you can actually beat your opponent not only just by lowering their health bar all the way, you can actually win in this game by actually just knocking them out of the ring too. You can get a ring out. So if you knock them off of the ledge, if you knock them off of the platform you're standing on, you get a ring out and you can win around that way too. And I just think that's really cool. I've seen some other games do it, and whenever they do it well, it's always a really cool thing. And I think they did a great job in this game. And it can also lead to some funny scenarios, you know, like you can knock out a character's health completely and you'll already have won the match, and then you'll still knock them out of the ring, and that's kind of funny when that happens. Or you can knock them out of the ring and you will have so much momentum that you also go out of the ring, and it all just depends on who lands first. So if you are both flying out of the ring, you better hope that your enemy is the one landing out there first. That way you win the round. But I just think that's a really fun thing. And like I said, whenever the ring out system is used correctly, it's fun, and they did a good job of using it in this game. This is a really great fighting game, and if you are looking for a fighting game that maybe you haven't played before, give this one a shot. It's worth picking up and trying out. It's a really fun game. I love the way it looks. I love the music in this game. I love the stages. There's just a lot of cool stuff here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed. I will be talking about more Japanese PlayStation 1 games in the future now, and we will talk about some Japanese exclusives as well. But like I said, I was just playing this one, and I figured why not go ahead and talk about it. We'll talk about some of the, you know, just the ones that came out in America too, that also came out in Japan. We'll talk about those, because you can still find a lot of those Japanese copies of the games a lot cheaper than you can the actual American copies of the game. So we'll still talk about some that were released in both regions later on, but I'm excited to talk about some of those exclusives as well. So I'll talk to you in the next video. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.